If you're looking to see what kind of effect the astrology says you might see in your chart about money and career and your work life, if you're looking for your work, you look at the 6th house. If you're looking for the money that you earn through your own efforts, you look at the 2nd house. If you're looking for your career, you look at the 10th house. If you're looking for money coming to you from outside sources, you look at the 8th house. And then other things can figure in, like the 11th house of your goals, wishes, and dreams. But that isn't all. Each planet brings with it the energy of the house that it comes from. So I'll show you on the next chart what that means. Now, each of the planets will bring also the original house energy to wherever they are placed in your chart. So for Aries, Mars rules Aries. It brings self-identity to wherever it is. It brings energy and your identity, your self-image to whatever part of the chart it rules. And of course, energy is critical in whatever area you use it in, and it can easily be seen in as to where you put your energy in your chart. And let's see, Venus rules the house of money, the 2nd house of Taurus. And so where it is in your chart, you look at that also, because wherever it sits, it can bring you money through your own efforts. If it's in another house, you look at that house energy and see what that house rules, and then combine it with the energy of Venus if Venus is sitting in that house, and that is where you could be making money through that sign that it sits in. Let's go to the 3rd house. Now that one is Mercury, and it rules short trips and communications and your mind. So where it sits in your chart, you could be using those where in whatever house it sits. You could be using communication, short trips, and your mind for your efforts. And of course, you're going to use your mind and may use transportation in work, career, money. Everything in a chart is important, so I look at everything. But let's go to the moon, which is the 4th house ruler, and it rules your emotions, and it will be wherever it is in your chart is where you will invest yourself emotionally. So you look at that, of course. And then the sun is where you show up, how you show up, what your sense of self-confidence and your creativity, your self-motivation. So where it is in the chart, you look in the sign that it is placed in to see if because that's where you will show up in life. Your efforts will be affect, of course, your work and your career and your money. Let's go to the 6th house, which is Mercury rules that house, and it rules the 6th house rules your daily tasks, your routines, and so forth. And of course, where Mercury is in your chart, it also take into consideration that it was the ruler of the 3rd house also, which of course that's the communication ruler and so forth. But you look at it also as to what part of your chart it is sitting in, and might be useful in work because it rules the work house. And let's go to the 7th house, because Venus rules this house also, besides the second house of money, you're going to look at that. If Venus, say Venus was in your seventh house in your natal chart, you might actually be gaining money through your own efforts with a partner. So, I mean, that's kind of how it works, but you look at where Venus is placed in your chart for both relationships and for money, possessions, and luxuries and so forth. Let's look at the next one. And Pluto rules Scorpio. The traditional ruler of Scorpio back in the old ages was Mars, actually, and it rules energy. And Pluto rules transformation and so forth. So where Pluto is placed can show where you're transforming, and of course that could affect your career, your work, and your money. Like I said, the whole chart is going to be important, and so you want to look at every one of your placements. But where Pluto is, it's transforming that energy. It's constantly under a transformational energy. It also is deep and psychological. So, like for instance, if it was placed in your third house of the mind, you might have very deep thoughts and deep psychological thoughts and so forth. If it was in your work house, it might actually employ you in some type of deep psychological work. Let's go to the next one, which is Jupiter in Sagittarius. Rules Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a mutable sign, and it's changeable. So Jupiter itself expands what it touches. So wherever it is usually considered a really good sign, a really good omen to have expansion in wherever it's placed. But it can be a functional malefic, meaning it could possibly, if it enhances a worse trait or worse aspect, then it could cause expansion to a bad thing. But mostly you consider it the jovial planet, the one that is good for expansion. So it's always considered in money matters also. It also brings higher education and so forth with it. All the traits of the house that it originally sits in, which is Sagittarius. So wherever it sits in your chart, it'll bring those good traits along with expansion. Let's go to the next one, which is Capricorn, and Saturn is the ruler of career, and it is considered a restrictive planet, but so it might make you work harder wherever it is placed in your chart, but it's also indicative of career, so, and ambition. So where it sits in your chart could be a type of career that you're employed in. So whatever sign it sits with could bring you a career. Say it's in Leo, Saturn in Leo, it might seem to restrict your fun or delay your fun, but it also might bring you an actual career in entertainment, because Leo, the fifth house, rules entertainment. So I mean, all planets have their good side, and well, it's perceived as either good or bad, but it's really just the way they either expand or contract your life, restrict your life, or Saturn makes things more methodical. So you are able to focus more on that area of life where it sits. Okay, let's go to the next one, which is ruled by Uranus, and that's Aquarius. And Uranus is the ruler now, but the traditional ruler was also Saturn, that used to be considered the ruler of Aquarius. But it is Uranus is uh, sudden insights. It's the sign of genius. I mean, the planet ruling genius, unusual individuality, uniqueness, uh, rebellion. uh, Um, can be considered um, independent and original. So, uh, where it sits in your chart, you might be more original in that part of your life, depending on what the house rules. And um, it can actually cause you to have a genius type focus in that area of your life, or a very unusual type. And you kind of have to know what each house is, but what house it sits in, the things that are ruled by that house. Uh-oh, I didn't mean to hit Neptune. I accidentally clicked forward too fast, and so I had to redo this. And anyway, Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, and it rules the 12th house. It rules the 12th house of loss. I didn't mention that Aquarius rules the house of gains. So when Uranus comes around, you might gain something, and then when you come to Neptune, where Neptune is placed, your imagination is, and unconscious motivations are more connected. So you can use your imagination to create something that could affect your money. You could use it. A lot of musicians have uh, Pisces moon, or Pisces, as the Pisces Virgo axis works together. So both of those would be key in possibly bringing in money for, uh, you want to look at every planet and every part of the chart and kind of glean where their placement is, as to how, like, if Neptune went in the second house, then it's a big indicator that you'd be using your imagination for bringing in money through your own efforts. Or like if it was in the ninth, eighth house of money coming to you from outside sources. It could be you would use your imagination for working on the occult, and it could bring you money from outside sources. It's just, you got to kind of look at the underlying house, the underlying sign of wherever each planet is placed. And yeah, that's what I wanted to say on Neptune. So as I've already said, that Aries houses are ruled by, you put the sign that you want to look up on the left there in the first house, and so that's what that little hand is pointing, the first house of your energy and self-image. And you can use this for both your sun and your moon besides your ascendant. And so you count to the sixth house, which is the house of work. And for an Aries, it's ruled by Virgo. And Virgo is a ruler of your daily routines and tasks. And Virgos are analytic and they think things through analytically. So you may work where work is concerned, you'll probably be analytical. Your work may include working in a health um, caretaking of some kind, or working in a health as a health worker of some type. And then the second house of money is ruled by Taurus, so the things that you will value as the house of value. So the things you would value might be your material wealth and your possessions and your luxuries and so forth, because Taurus enjoys those things, and also luxuriant food. Um, so then with the career up, their career is ruled by Capricorn, and so that's could be governmental or some kind of structural job, some kind of um, um, more um, seeking money, status, or power for the career. And then, and so you could be more methodical in your approach toward your career. You could be very structured in your approach toward career. And then if the eighth house of other people's money is ruled by Scorpio, so you could um, uh, possibly have some type of focus on money coming to you from outside sources, or you just are somehow supported by outside sources, or an inheritance, or government stipends, welfare, or something like that. You may attract somehow gifts from other people. You might, yeah, that's pretty much what I see. So for a Taurus, the houses that we look at, of course, you put it out on in the first house, and then across from it, there the sixth house of work is ruled by Libra. So you might have fluctuating or ambivalence towards what you do for your work, or you may have a fair and just type of work. You may work with partners. You may work with your marriage partner. You may find your marriage partner through your work. That's kind of the way it works. You may obtain money and resources from a partner. You may, your daily tasks may involve some type of justice work. You may organize some type of justice work. Libra is more supportive, so it would be like maybe you would not be the judge, but you might be the secretary of a judge or something, with it ruling your house of work, or a supportive role somehow in justice work. Maybe a lawyer's, maybe you could be a lawyer, but you could bring some type of work that involves being fair and just. So then with the second house of money, it's ruled by Gemini. So Gemini is communications and um, uh, any type of like computer work, or working on phones, or communicating somehow could bring you money through your own resources and your values. You may value communicating a lot. Now,
that house is ruled by Taurus, and Taurus rules the voice. And so with Gemini there, that combines use of the voice with communications and your values. And so you may use your voice a lot for um, obtaining money through your own resources. You may sing, you might just have a career that uses the voice. Um, I mean, bring money in through your own efforts that uses the voice. Now, the career house is at the top of the chart, which that's ruled by Aquarius, and that would tend to make your career more public and have an effect on society at large somehow, because Aquarius rules society at large, or it could be just your friendships. Maybe you obtain a career through your friendships, or with your friends have a career, or possibly some type of political career. That house is normally ruled by Saturn, so that, structures you could have some type of governmental political career. Because Saturn rules Capricorn normally, and it used to rule Aquarius. That was the traditional ruler. And it involves structures. And so structures of government, structures of political matters, and revolution, rebellious energy. So anything to do with the career could be unique or ingenious or unusual, or may appear odd to people, but it tends to be something that affects society at large, because it's in that house of Aquarius. So where it comes to the eighth house for a Taurus, Sagittarius rules that area. So that could bring money from outside sources, that is from foreigners, or from traveling, or from long distance foreigners, long distance matters, long distance, because Sagittarius rules long distance communications and long distance and foreign traveling. And also that house rules the occult, it rules sexuality. You could come across your sexual partners in a foreign land, or have a foreigner as a sexual partner. You could have money coming to you from some foreign avenue, or it also, Sagittarius rules philosophy and the higher mind, and religion, structured religion, and that house rules psychology and secrets. And so, I mean, you could be a psychologist. They have to keep things private, and so hidden matters could be some way that you could be a really philosophical psychologist, or just I mean, that could be an avenue for income from outside sources, counseling people on their philosophy or their religion, or be a priest that has to keep secrets, or could have secrets that are sexual, but that's kind of the way that house works. Did I finish with Taurus? Because I clicked past, the house of goals would be Pisces, excuse me, which is normally Aquarius's house. And the house of goals, if you'd have this, that's that's your unconscious motivations. So your unconscious motivations would be connected to how you affect society. So that could bring your goals to affect society, and so that could come into play in your career and how you obtain money and resources also. So for a Gemini, you see Gemini's on the left, that's put it in the first house, the house of Aries, which is why it has a symbol of the goat there. But so when you line them up to show where the workhouse is, you can use either your ascendant, your sun, or your moon, and so you see the six houses away is the workhouse, and for you it is ruled by Scorpio, and Scorpio is hidden secrets or sexuality or money coming to you from outside sources, possibly inheritances or working with wills, because this is the house of work. You could do some work that involves any of those things that I've already mentioned, and where your that house is concerned, it organizes what you work with. So I mean, you could have some organizational job that organizes matters of psychology or matters of you could be a psychologist, you could work with other people's money somehow, be some type of money analyst or something, and anyway, or it could be that you work as a psychiatrist for people's health, you know, as a health worker in psychology somehow. And then in the second house, your second house is ruled by Cancer. So Cancer is emotions and your home, and you might make money through your home somehow. You might make money that is connected with your mother somehow, or a main nurturer. And Cancer is very empathetic and so forth. So if you did have a Scorpio workhouse job of psychology, then your emotions would be, and your empathy and your sympathy would be able to play into that. But that's just one of the elements that come into a Gemini's possibilities. And then the career house up at the top is ruled by Pisces, which your unconscious motivations could be connected to your career, and you could have use your intuition in your career and spirituality in your career. And so, you know, you combine the energies of the houses that work with money. And then the eighth house of money coming to you from outside sources is ruled by Capricorn. So you could somehow have governmental money coming to you, or affect the government. The effect, your effect on the government could bring you resources from other people, gifts, or government stipends, or maybe you inherit money that is maybe from your father, because Capricorn rules the father, or from an older man, because Capricorn rules older men. And so it comes to you somehow money can come to you from some outside resource, and it involves some type of either government structural or governmental, or um, with your father, or some type of methodical way, maybe just through your career, because Capricorn rules a career, and you could just have a career that are involving eighth house matters, which could be the occult, or it could be um, uh, astrology, or it could be your career could be something to do with transformations, or psychology. Um, and then your goal house, your house of goals, which is the 11th house up there, is ruled by Aries. So you'd have a lot of energy toward wanting to affect society at large, and that's the house that Aquarius normally rules. So you may feel real rebellious and want to make a big difference on society, and they have a lot of uh, revolutionary thinking, and you put a lot of energy into it, because Aries is the sign that rules energy and your self-image. You perceive yourself as someone who pursues goals in affecting society. So for a Cancer, um, looking at having Cancer lined up on the left in Aries house of self-image, because that's the way we calculate this, and you count to the sixth house, and Cancer's sixth house of work and health is ruled by Sagittarius, and Sagittarius rules long distance matters, communications, long distance travel, foreign or distant matters, could be even through long distance and foreign communications. And so when it rules the sixth house of work, you could find some type of work that is either long distance, or involves a lot of long distance travel, or foreign communications, or possibly something to do with religion, because Sagittarius rules formal religion. It could be something to do with philosophy. It also rules philosophy and theology, and rules anything to do with the higher mind. It could be you could become a professor, because it rules higher education. And then with your money ruled through your own efforts in the second house, that's Taurus's normal house, and it's the house of values and possessions and so forth. And yours is ruled by geez, I've covered it up. Come on, Cancer, Leo. Okay, so Leo, it's ruled by Leo, and Leo is uh, the ego and entertainment and children, the house of romance. So, I mean, the sign of romance and entertainment and ego and expression. So somehow you could bring money through your own efforts that have to do with your expressions, and the way you entertain. And maybe you could be an entertainer, and you might affect people at long distances, far away, because of the effect of the work house that we just talked about in Sagittarius, and then the combination of Leo ruling your second house of money, money that you earn through your own efforts, and it also rules luxuries and possessions and rich food. So, I mean, maybe that's where you pride yourself on those things. You may pride yourself on your home possessions and so forth, and yeah, may earn money through your ego somehow, your how you show up, how you entertain. You may be an entertainer that affects people a long, far away. And then your career up at the top, Aries is ruling your career house. So that's how the world perceives you, and Aries is a sign that rules the self-image. So you could use the self for your career. In other words, you could have a, a career that is using yourself, uh, self-employment, um, but your self-image somehow, rather than it could be even that Aries can be a real physical person. It could be some type of exercise that you do that shows up. I mean, you could be a weightlifter or a long distance runner or something that a lot of people notice, because um, Sagittarius ruling that house of health rules the legs, and so maybe you are someone that is very physically fit, and it somehow is made it, you make a career out of it, and combined with that second house energy of Leo, that would fit right in with some type of energetic career, or use of yourself somehow for how you show up, being very visible. And then your eighth house of secrets and other people's money coming to you from outside sources is ruled by Aquarius, so that ties in with public, uh, how you receive money coming to you from outside sources. Could be public job, public work, somehow public, because Aquarius rules the public at large, the society at large. So it could be some things you have to be very secret about. It could be just something that involves psychological secrets, or hopefully not addictions. I mean, obsessions um, toward being out in society, uh, or you could have an obsession about being seen in society, but we're talking about how you obtain money and career and work, and so that house rules other people's money coming to you from outside sources. So with Aquarius there, it could be that society somehow sends you money a lot. Somehow you receive money from a society and it could involve some type of secretive or um, secretive nature, or through death, inheritances, or through, I don't know, you could be an undertaker. I don't know. But anyway, the other house that I look at is the 11th house of goals, wishes, and dreams, which is for you, ruled by Taurus. And so your goals and wishes and dreams involve bringing money in, and because Taurus rules a house of money, um, through your own efforts. So it also is ruled by Venus, which brings luck, and that house is the house of gains. So you could be exceptionally lucky in bringing in money from society somehow, because that's the house of society at large. For Leo, what we look at is we place Leo in the first house over there, and you can do it with your sun, your ascendant, or your moon. And so then you look at the sixth house, which for you, it's ruled by Capricorn, and Capricorn is government or structures or uh, some type of structure. Could be working with your father, could be some type of work that you do for health, organizing, structuring health matters, maybe even working to structure, um, maybe work in a health company or a company that works with insurance for health matters or something like that. And so, what you what that house rules normally is your daily tasks and organization and analyzing and tedious matters, uh, daily routines and tasks, and it also rules health. And so what it Capricorn slows down whatever it is that it touches, and so it could be something very methodical that you do for work, that involves a lot of analytical or task-oriented um, matters, or and the reason I was mentioning that it could be something to do with um, like insurance or health, big company insurance or something, because Capricorn is more an outside. It isn't. It's more on a large scale, like government or political matters or some type of really structured um, corporations, I guess I'm trying to say. I can't get the right words for it. It's like corporations. So you might work for a corporation that involves health matters somehow, or involves some type of tedious work, or even building structures, building big buildings, architect or something. And then the second house of money earned through your own efforts is ruled by Virgo, and that's the ruler of that same house. So more connection to possibly health being involved in how you are caretaking, how you make your money that you earn through your own efforts. So you combine the energies of whatever houses and that your work house combines with. So your values, your house of values is the second house that is ruled by Virgo, and Virgo is um, analytical, and so it might have a real focus on material values. Uh, and so now that house rules your luxuries and your possessions, and it rules good luck. It rules some some type of uh, anything that has to do with material wealth. So combined with the sixth house, so Leos are really structured and can affect government and work with corporations and big industries and um, uh, um, big the structures of that far-reaching structural work of some type. It could be government work, but anyway, then the house that rules career for a Leo is Taurus, and that's ruled also rules that second house normally, so that ties in with materialistic values, because that's the house of value. Second house is a house of values, and so the career rules is ruled the by Taurus, which is the ruler of the house of values. So a lot of values on how you bring money into your home, how your possessions, your luxuries, your, maybe rich food. You might even have a career in food on a large scale. It isn't probably, I mean, it could be a restaurant even, but um, yeah, a career involving anything that Taurus rules. Taurus rules the voice. So it could be someone that has sings. I'm mumbling around here, and my voice isn't coming out right. Anyway, then the other house that we look at is that eighth house of other people's money coming to you from outside sources. And so maybe you have an intuitive connection to that house, which, because it's ruled by Pisces for you. And Pisces is your unconscious motivations and your spirituality and your and that house rules sexuality, death, and rebirth, transformations, psychology. So all of those things could be involved with your unconscious motivations. And if maybe a death, unconsciously, you're unconsciously motivated toward receiving money from outside sources, or you have some imaginative, um, you can come up with through your imagination, come up with things that bring you money through outside sources. So Virgo, we put Virgo over in the first house, and so you look at the sixth house. You could Virgo can be either sun, moon, or ascendant, and so you look at the sixth house away from that to see what your work might be affected by. And for you, that house is ruled by Aquarius, and so that's society at large, rebellion, revolution, unusual, odd. Uh, you could have any type of unusual, odd, or rebellious, or revolutionary, or unique, or ingenious job that you work at. You could have something that is involving, because that house involves caretaking and health. Also, you could have some ingenious or unusual way of caretaking as the work that you do. Maybe you're an unusual nurse, or you're an unusual, um, whatever it is. It would be something that is more prone to affect society at large. So your work, because of Aquarius ruling it, or it could be very unusual, and you may have unusual health. Uh, it, you Some type of health issue may be unusual for you, but we're looking at it from work and not so much the health area. But so the type of work that you could do to bring in your money could be something unusual or out of the ordinary, or be very ingenious. And then the second house is work that you bring in through your own hands. And your house is ruled by Libra, so you could your money that you bring in through your own efforts could change. It could be ambivalent, or you could be ambivalent about what you want to do for your with your money, or how you obtain money. Um, or it could be something that you're very, maybe it involves a lot of beauty and aesthetics, and maybe creating beautiful things, or um, something that involves something that's fair and just, and brings in, to do with possessions, and that house rules possessions and values and what you value, and it involves your luxuries, luxurious food. So those things may be ways that you are able to make money. You may create beautiful food, or create beautiful things to um, bring in money through your own efforts. And then your career house is ruled by Gemini, which Gemini is changeable. It's a mutable sign, and it involves communications, and it involves short trips. It involves maybe your siblings. You could have a career that involves your siblings, or it could just be that you have a lot of communications in your career, and um, possibly a lot of short trips that you have to take for your career. And it rules studies also. You could have a teaching job with a lot of uh, lower education, something small, something not not uh, not higher education. It's more a lower education thing, or just communicating in general. And then the eighth house, where you obtain money through your own through other people's resources. That could be something to do that is secretive, or it could be something to do with wills, or inheritances, or gifts coming to you, or um, could be through the occult. It could be but your house, of the eighth house, that involves all those matters, and it also involves psychology and obsessions and so forth. And your house is ruled by Aries, and Aries is where you put your energy toward. And so you might have a lot of energy that is used to obtain money through outside sources, or your image, your self-image may bring you money from outside sources. Maybe you're really beautiful with all that Libra down in with Libra ruling your house of money that comes in through your own efforts. And then Aries ruling, it rules the energy and your image. So you could use your image to obtain money. Um, and I guess that would tie in with the unusual career that you use maybe you're a model or something. I guess that's it for Virgo. For a Libra, when you put Libra over in the first house, which it can be your sun, moon, or ascendant, and then you count to the sixth house to see your house of work. And for you, excuse me, the house for you is ruled by Pisces, and that rules the unconscious motivations. It rules spirituality. It rules imagination. And so those things can be used to obtain work. You can use your imagination to obtain work. Maybe some imaginative project that you do is what you do for work, or you have to use your imagination a lot in your work. And it can also involve health somehow. So or spirituality. You could be a spiritual advisor or something, give spiritual advice maybe that heals people's minds, because that house rules health, and Pisces rules the imagination. Could be addictions that you use somehow, help people who are addicted for work. And I'm saying this from the angle of work, not saying, if you have Pisces ruling that house, you're going to be addicted. I'm looking at it from resources that you could obtain because you have Pisces ruling that house, and the type of work that you might do might be affected by everything that is Pisces is ruled by. Now, Pisces also rules the house of isolation and hospitals and incarceration. So I don't know, you might find a job in a hospital or working in a jail or something like that too. And then your second house is ruled by Scorpio, which that's the money that you bring in through your own efforts. And Scorpio is secretive. It also rules money coming to you from outside sources. It rules death, sex, and rebirth, transformation, psychology. And in the second house of money and resources and material wealth, or material possessions and um, luxuries and luxuriant food and so forth. You could use, maybe have some kind of unusually occultish type of food venue that you have or something. You could use your I don't know how to say this your sexuality for bringing in money, or you could bring in some type of, you could also use psychology for money that you earn. You could use um, let me see, you could have obsessions about your what you focus on for your money, or about how you earn your money. You could have obsessions because Scorpio rules obsessions. And like I was saying at that last house, it's you might um, look at it. I'm looking at it through the lens of how you could earn money through it, not not that the effect would be that you are obsessed with money, but that you could have, you could work with someone that has problems with obsessions or something in order to uh, obtain money. And then your house of career is ruled by Cancer, and the thing that with Cancer and Pisces and Scorpio, all three of those are psychic signs, so you could use a lot of intuition for your career, for your work, and for the money that you bring in through your hands. And so in career, with it being ruled by Cancer, Cancer is your home and um, rules the mother, and that house rules the father. So you could, with your parents or at home, you could find a career that you work with your parents and at home, or it could be just some nurturing that you do, maybe to even taking care of your mother or father as a career or something like that. But could be something intuitive that you do for a career from home. And then the eighth house for you is ruled by Taurus, and that's where you receive money from outside sources, and um, that rules wills and um, um, gifts and things coming to you from outside sources that are not something that you've put your effort toward. It could be a inheritance, or it could be government stipends, or just any type of money that comes to you from outside sources. Could be like from something secretive, or something that is psychological. Now this one would tie in with, if it's a psychological house, that house rules psychology, and you could use your intuition from all those other three houses to bring you money from outside sources, through psychology, or through through the occult. And Taurus, occult can be astrology, or any type of, maybe reading angel cards or something like that. And then Taurus rules the second house, so that puts another your money that you earn through your own hands is in the house. I mean, ruling the house of money that comes to you from outside sources. So a lot of luck on somehow receiving money from outside sources. And then your house of goals, wishes, and dreams, which is the 11th house for you, is ruled by Leo. And so that's entertainment, and could be some type of entertainment that you have your goals are, and how you want to affect society. And could be your pride and ego are really wrapped up in your goals, because Leo is ego and pride, and how you entertain, how entertaining you are. And through that house, it's the house that is ruled normally by Aquarius, and so it could be very unusual way that you obtain your goals. And that's the house of gains, so it could be some type of entertainment. And if it may involve intuition, or it may involve, actually, I should go back over there to the 8th house of Taurus, ruled by Taurus. Taurus rules the voice, so it could be singing even, and um, an intuitive way you sing, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, I think that's it for Libra. For Scorpio, when you put Scorpio in the first house, either sun, moon, or ascendant, you look to the 6th house. Then your 6th house is ruled by Aries, which rules your self-image and energy, and so how you show, your initiative. And so you have a lot of initiative probably toward working, and you are a self-starter, and you the things that you might put your effort toward are maybe health, and organizing, and may exercise a lot, may use exercise in your work, or may just use your self-image in your work, because Aries rules the self-image, and that house rules work and health. It could have some type of work that involves that, maybe self-employment. And then the second house, your second house, where you bring in money through your own efforts, excuse me, and that's the second house of values for you. It is ruled by Sagittarius, and Sagittarius rules long distance matters and foreign communications, and long distance foreign communications, long distance communications and travel. And so maybe to obtain money, you may end up traveling far away or into foreign countries, or you may to obtain possessions and your values may be wrapped up in something foreign, and because it's the house of values, possessions, money that you earn through your own efforts, luxuries, and rich foods and so forth, you might, any of those matters can be wrapped up with the things that Sagittarius involves, and Sagittarius rules philosophy and theology and formal religion and long distance matters. And so you could have any one of those things uh, affecting your house of values and how you obtain money through your own hands. And then for your career house up at the top, Leo is your ruler for the 10th house of career, and that is the house that rules father. It rules any kind of structure, it rules governmental structures, political structures. So with Leo up there, Leo is the ego and pride, and so you may have really a lot of pride on governmental or structural real estate, something like that. Might be, building something or some type of uh, corporate things, because Leo prides itself and shows it's the showman. And it could be just an entertainment that you decide to go into, but it's a very at the top of the chart like that. Leo is usually very public and usually affects government somehow. It's ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is structure and rules. Um, it, it rules any kind of methodical, long-term, slowed down energy to structure something that will last. And so it takes the formless to form. And it takes the so what the type of things that you want your career, you want everything that the way that you entertain yourself is actually more wrapped up in structuring than being maybe frivolous. And so anyway, so the type of career that you'll have will be more structured than a normal, than a Leo Capricorn combined is what you're looking at. And then your 8th house of other people's money and so forth is ruled by Gemini. Gemini is communications and so forth. So you might have a lot of communications that involve maybe obtaining a way. Communications may be how you obtain other people's money and income, and it could be some type of occult or secretive pursuit that you have, or through sexuality, through a death, inheritance, or something. It could be that you deal with death, or maybe work with as a mortician or something like that. But with the other rulers that you have for the work house and the second house and the 10th house, that you kind of combine all of the other elements together. It wouldn't, it seems like a mortician would be too private for, but it would be maybe something that it would have to be something that would affect a large population, because of Leo being at the top of the chart. And so it isn't it isn't something that would be, it's secretive. So um, some type of communication that you have may have to be really kept private. You might have a governmental job that you keep everything private. And then your 11th house of goals, wishes, and dreams is ruled by Virgo, which organizes and makes everything analytical and uh, it rules your daily tasks and so forth. So it rules the workhouse normally. So your work is always part of your goals and wishes and your dreams and your health is because it rules both work and health. Virgo does, and so and also rules friendships. That house also rules friendships and society at large. So whatever it is, you have goals that affect people, things on a large scale. Um, could be some type of um, once again tying in all the other houses, the sixth house, the second house, and eighth house, and the career house. It is too public to. It could be something tedious, but it is probably something structural more for Scorpio. A lot of work with details and so forth because of Virgo. That your goals are always detailed. For a Sagittarius, when you put Sagittarius over to the left in the first house, you can do that with your sun, your moon, and your ascendant. And so then you look at the sixth house of work, which is on the other side of the chart, and that is ruled by Taurus for you. And Taurus is the house, the sign that rules money brought in through your own hands. It rules possessions and luxuries and your rich food and your values, anything that you value. So for you, all those things in the sixth house can bring, oh, and also Taurus rules the voice. So you can have some type of work that either works with possessions and money, or it works with your voice, or your work could involve um, something to do with uh, analyzing and analyzing possessions, or some kind of person that does inventory, or um, uh, something to do with um, you're probably really structured in your work. You're probably um, determined in your work, and probably you take on the traits. Your work will take on the traits of a Taurus, and Taurus is methodical and calm and goal oriented and material. So whatever your work is will take on those traits, or that's what you focus on. It could be even health matters that you focus on, but um, now the house that rules your second house of money that you earn through your own efforts, or that you bring in through your own efforts, is ruled by Capricorn, and Capricorn rules the government, it rules structures, it rules your father. It could be that you take your father. It could be that your father is somehow involved in money that you bring in through your own efforts. It could be that you work with him. You could, or an older man. Capricorn also rules older men, and then or it could just be that you aren't able to work until you're older, because Capricorn delays things. It slows down the energy where it is, and so maybe you might find your. It also rules career, so you could have self-employment with your own some something that you create for a career that brings in money through your own efforts, or to do with your possessions and luxuries and um, rich food and so forth, because that's what that house rules. It rules your values. And so Capricorn is ambitious, and it seeks money and power and status. And so maybe you want money, power, and status. And so that's what you seek when you're looking for money through your own efforts. And then your career house up at the top is ruled by Virgo, which organizes it, analyzes it, um, uh, has a critical eye for things that to do with wherever it is placed. And so you probably have a lot of focus on it. Also rules the house of work, which for you is ruled by Taurus. So you probably are real focused on bringing in money and using using analysis for the type of career that you have, being analytical about your career, being focused, and with Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn, those are all earth signs. So you're very grounded in what you work with your own hands. You're grounded and sensible about what type of work that you might want. And then the eighth house of money coming to you from outside resources is ruled by Cancer. And so that's the um, how sign ruling home and mother and nurturing. And so you might use your home to obtain money and resources from. You uh, might have inheritances, might have an inheritance from your mother or a main nurturer, or you might have some type of caretaking job. I mean, not caretaking. Yeah, it could be caretaking because Virgo is the ruler of your career. So that involves people that are dying, or people that are uh, maybe psychology, use psychology for your career. Now, Cancer is a psychic sign, so you might use intuition, um, as psychologic, unconscious motivations, and psychology to obtain money through outside sources, or all the matters of that house might be involved in your home. You might use the occult at home. So you might have an occult, um, you might do something at home that involves the occult, like studying. That house rules the study of astrology, it rules, I mean, any type of occult practice. But the other three houses are more material and more practical. So it's just maybe, I don't know, uh, Cancer is more nurturing, and home grounded. I mean, it's more connected to nurturing. So I don't know, practical nurturing of some type would be the element that brings in, maybe. And then uh, your goals, wishes, and dreams house is ruled by Libra. And so you are fair-minded and far thinking and unusual thinking in your goals and your wishes and your dreams, and maybe your friendships are unusual, and your partners and your relationships and your marriage might be unusual because it's ruled in the house of Aquarius, um, and you may bring in quite a few people that are from if it's an this the house of society at large, so you might have partners from in society at large. And Virgo in the house of career would be, yeah, you could do some nursing career, and that affects society at large, or just affects a lot of society. So for a Capricorn, when you put Capricorn in the first house, which is where you can put your sun, moon, or ascendant, and you look across to the sixth house, and your sixth house of work and health is ruled by Gemini, and so it could be um, uh, mutable. Your work could be changeable. Um, Gemini rules communications and short trips and your siblings, and so you could have a job that involves any of those. You could have a job that involves communicating, and a phone job, or uh, communications over the computer, or um, have a lot of little trips that you have to take in your work, or it could involve your health matters, because that house also rules health. Could be that just that you um, really you might have a job and work with your siblings. So Gemini rules all those, and then and that house is ruled by Virgo. So Virgo organizes and analyzes, and it also is ruled by Mercury. So quick thinking, quick, lot of communications. And then your second house of money that you earn through your own efforts is ruled by Aquarius, and Aquarius is a sign that affects society at large, and that house rules your values and money that you earn through your own efforts, possessions, luxuries, rich foods. So any of those can be, and with Aquarius ruling that house, it could be something really unusual that you bring money in through your own efforts, some unusual, unique, could be ingenious way that you, or a revolutionary way that you earn through your own efforts. And so then the house of career for you is ruled by Libra, and Libra is fair-minded, it seeks beauty and harmony and justice, and uh, in a Libra in the house of career could mean that you have a career that involves beautiful things or aesthetics, making things beautiful somehow, or just maybe fair and just. It could be something with law. Could be something that brings you yeah, it could be with a partner, or through your marriage that you have a career, because Libra rules the house of marriage and partnerships. And then your eighth house is ruled by Leo, and it is money coming to you from outside sources. So it could be through some type of entertainment that money comes to you from outside sources, because Leo rules entertainment. It rules the ego. It rules expression. It rules how you show up, it rules how you play, it rules children. So money could come to you from any of this, through those sources somehow. You it rules that house rules sexuality and death and rebirth, transformations in psychology. It could be that any of those can be involved somehow in how you entertain, or it rules the occult, it rules um, um, yeah, you could have a job that involves any of those things, and that you, when you put things online that are with astrology or that are in the occult, like card reading, angel card reading, or any of that type of thing, it's considered entertainment. It's not considered a science, and so um, it could be something like that. You use entertainment to bring money in from outside sources, and that could be one of the ways, because that house is ruled by, um, that house rules the occult. It rules secrets, though, too. Could whatever you do can be real secretive. It could be just that you have a going back over to the 10th house of career, Libra. You could be a lawyer, could be so that you have to keep secrets for people. That's just thinking out. And the other, tying it in with Gemini, communicating, and then with Aquarius, society at large, or unusual way to. So they all tie in. You kind of look at the energies and see, and then your goals, wishes, and dreams house is ruled by Scorpio, and Scorpio rules that house of other people's money. So your goals, wishes, and dreams could involve all the things, the occult, and actually that house rules the study. The practice of astrology. The eighth house rules the study of astrology. The 11th house rules the practice of astrology, or anyway, Scorpio rules the study of astrology, and um, the ruler of the 11th, Aquarius, rules the practice of astrology. So you could be an astrologer. The Capricorn, being a Capricorn, uh, usually you have some type of ambition towards status, and you're status seeking and seek other people's money and so forth. So you might put a lot of effort toward seeking other people's money, just being a Capricorn. Okay, for an Aquarius, when you put Aquarius in the first house, either your sun, your moon, or your ascendant, you look to the sixth house to see what rules your work house, and that is Cancer for you. And Cancer is an intuitive sign. It can be psychic. It rules the home and mother. It rules emotions and um, empathy, sympathy, and feelings in general. So you may have a job that involves those, that uses a lot of emotions to what in your work. Maybe some type of therapy or something. And then uh, that house is normally ruled by Virgo, and that's the caretaking sign, which rules nursing and work, tedious analytical things. You may have some type uh, of therapy that involves, you might uh, it might be from home. You may use your caretaking skills at home, because Cancer rules the home. It rules your mother. It could be something that you do with your mother that in your work. And then for your second house of values and money that you bring in through your own efforts, yours is ruled by, where is Pisces? Yours is ruled by Pisces. So Pisces is another psychic sign. So a lot of intuition there for your work, and a lot of intuition in how you bring in your money through your own resources and possessions and let's see, money, possessions, luxuries, and rich foods. That's what that house rules, or your values. So Pisces there. Pisces is intuition and creativity. And I mean, intuition of imaginative things that come up under the surface and in your mind. It could be spirituality. So you might use spirituality in your uh, in the way that you earn money through your own efforts. And your house of career up at the top there is ruled by Scorpio, and Scorpio is also another psychic sign. So all three of those psychic signs rule your money houses. And so a career in Scorpio means, you could, and that house rules government. You could be just having to keep a lot of secrets um, about maybe something sexual, or about government, or um, about a death, or the occult. So any of those can be involved in your career somehow. You could have a career that is maybe astrology or something occult, something to do with death, something to do with transformations. It could be psychology. You could have a psychology job. You could have something to do with anything to do with the eighth house, which for you, the eighth house, which is where money comes to you from outside sources, is ruled by Virgo, and that rules normally the house of work and health. And so that organizes and analyzes and breaks down things into small analytical degrees. And so you might be real analytical in how you deal with death, or how you deal with sexuality, or how you deal with your psychology makeup. May be real analytical. You might, but I'm trying to get back to the money, career, and work side of it. You could use all your analytical skills in some type of psychologic or um, psychology type of work, uh, be a psychiatrist or something. And then with money coming to you from outside sources, it could be some type of work that you organize, wills or something like that. And then your house of goals, wishes, and dreams is ruled by Sagittarius. So you might have the um, goal to affect society at large, because that is the house that rules society at large. And Sagittarius rules long distance and foreign connections and so forth. So it also rules religion, philosophy, and organized religion and philosophy and theology. And so you might, your goals and your wishes and your dreams might be involved in that. You might have a lot of friends, because Sagittarius rules friends, and I mean rules. You're pretty gregarious in your how you affect society, and uh, that house rules society at large. And it also rules friendships. So somehow your goals always involve friendships, and your philosophy and religion involve friendships. So anyway, I think that's it for that one. So if you're a Pisces and you're putting Pisces over on that left-hand side in the first house, which is you can use either the sun, the moon, or the ascendant there, then you look to see which rules the sixth house, which is the house of work and health, and yours is ruled by Leo, which is the entertainer. It rules the ego. It rules how you express yourself, how you express yourself in romance, how you express yourself with your children, how you express yourself with in your the way that you entertain, your creative side, your how you show up, and so in the house of work, if with it ruling the house of work, you'll probably be real entertaining at work, or you may have a job in entertainment. Your work may be entertaining, and it may be that you have a work with children. It may be because Leo rules the house of children, and that house also rules pets. I haven't even focused on that for any of the other ones, but it rules that house rules your daily tasks and routines and so forth. So Leo and work and your health. So the things that Leo rules would be used in your work or affect your health. And so then we look at the second house, which is your money that you bring in through your own hands, that you are able to bring in through your own efforts, and your values and uh, possessions and luxuries and food, luxuriant food and so forth. And that normally is ruled by Taurus, but for you it's ruled by Aries, and Aries is your self-image and your energy. So you might have self-employment, you might have your image really tied up in how you obtain money and possessions and resources, and you may be able to use your self-image to obtain money and resources. And then your career house is ruled by Sagittarius, which Sagittarius, that's at the top of the chart, in the house of, which is normally ruled by Capricorn, and that rules career and father, and Sagittarius rules um, mentors. And so you may have some older men or mentors helping you out in your career. You may work for an older man, you may work for your father, you may work with older men or work with your father. You might have somebody that, you might work in a religious career, or you may work in a philosophical career. You may work in something that deals with long distance and foreign communications, or um, long distance and foreign travel, because Sagittarius rules all that. And then your next house we look at is the eighth house, and for that's money coming to you from outside sources, and that's Libra. Is you the ruler for you, and Libra rules justice and beauty and all kinds of aesthetics and partnerships and marriage and so forth. You might obtain money through marriage and partnerships. You might obtain money through beauty, through your beauty, or through something beautiful that you create. And because it's in the eighth house, it could be something more on the occult uh, uh, level, or could be an inheritance, could be Um, that house rules sexuality and death and transformations in psychology. So Libra is fair and just, and um, so you could just use. It could be that you obtain through partners that are into the occult, or that are into, or that had a death, or you could have an inheritance through a death. It could, that I'm trying to think. Libra is more, it's partnerships and marriage. So you could, your spouse could die, or you could, some partner could leave you some money. And I'm just looking at it from the angle of trying to see how you might obtain resources from outside that aren't through your own efforts, and that's the house that rules that. So, and then your goals are ruled by the 11th house of gains, and for you that is ruled by Capricorn, and that's government, rules government and structures. And so your goals, wishes, and dreams, which that house rules, it could be very structured like a Capricorn, and or it could be involved in government and politics, and it could be that you have goals toward government and politics, and that affect society at large, and society at large is what that house rules. So that's, or it could, you could have friendships that are Capricorns, or that are very structured people, because Capricorn rules that. But the whole point is to look at money, career, and work. So Capricorn rules the house of career normally, so it ties in with Sagittarius energy, because Sagittarius rules your house of career. And so it combines Capricorn, Sagittarius, and Aquarius energy there. So it could be something very structured. It could be something that is far-reaching, and involves foreign connections and long distance connections and so forth. Anyway, thanks for listening. I think that's the last of my slides.